Okay, thank you. Let me start over. Welcome to today's Vendors at Large meeting. Today is June 10th, 2026. For those of you who may not have the opportunity to speak or meet with me yet, my name is Charlisa Payne. I am the new vending facility supervisor here at DDS. Some of you may be familiar with my work in the background with the program. I did spend 6 years with the agency here as the executive assistant. I do bring a background in finance as well as operations, working in banking and working with the OCFO, Office of the Chief Financial Officer, in Washington, D.C. for many years as well. I also operate my own catering business outside of working for DDS for the last 6 years, where I was also attended culinary school, where I received my Safe Serve Manager Certificate that I believe has also been very useful in this position as well. I started in this role on May 4th, 2026. So I've been here for a little over a month. Some of you may have seen me in some of your facilities. I have had the chance to go out and view a few of them. My goal is to see every last facility that we have, to meet with every vendor. So if I haven't been to your facility yet, or I haven't had the opportunity to meet with you in person yet, please know that I will be getting around to everyone, and I'm looking forward to seeing your locations and to be able to speak and meet with you all in person. We have a very large program here. I believe it's a wonderful program, has wonderful opportunities. I've really been enjoying my time here so far. And again, I look forward to building relationships with each and every one of you. I did not get a chance to reach out to you all in advance for agenda items, as my intention was to just be able to have an initial meeting with you all and to go over the transition that the agency has gone through, and just have an opportunity to speak with you. But moving forward, I do plan to reach out and receive agenda items for input for our future meetings. So we have 4 items on today's agenda. We have a budget update. We have changes and updates to policies, agency transition, as well as 2026 vendor at large meeting schedule. With me today, I have Jeremy Jefferson with our operations team, Rachel McKinley with our Office of Policy Planning and Innovations team, and Director Reese, who everyone knows is the director of the agency. Online, we also have our lead monitor, Jelani Smith, which a lot of you are familiar with, and our deputy director, Shannon Austin, with us here today. So we're going to start off with the first item, which is the budget update. So I'm going to kick it over to Jeremy Jefferson. I hope that you all did receive the 3 attachments that were sent out to you for your review and your records, and he is going to give you the information from those reports.
Good afternoon. This is the RSVFP financial reporting, October 1st, 2025 to year to date as of May 29th, 2026. Levy set aside received was $367,637.12. Items paid out of levy set aside, the total amount was $149,807.03. This consisted of maintenance of equipment, $15,808.31. Management services, $78,790.03. Purchase of equipment, $29,341. Replacement of equipment, $25,867.69. So the new levy set aside balance is $217,830.09. There was a journal of 66,000 done in April to reduce the amount of local expenditures paid against POs, and also in May, a journal of 72,000 to reduce the amount of local expenditures paid against POs. Out of local expenditures, the total was 17,623, and this is considered a payment of management services. This concludes the financial reporting.
Are there any questions and comments on that report out?
Yes, I have one. I think, I'm not sure what I heard here or read it, but I don't forgot it. How much was spent on equipment?
Purchase of equipment out of levy set aside was 29,341. Replacement of equipment 25,867.69.
Can you tell us what type of equipment that was spent on? And to who facility it went to?
That was in the spreadsheet that was sent out, wasn't it?
It was.
Okay.
Yep. So the breakdown of all the expenses is one of the attachments in the email. Let's see here. So there was a coffee brewer with the DOL, some coffee carts, the Department of Transportation, some refrigerators, Department of Transportation, some monitors for Switzer, and do you want further detail than that?
I didn't hear you. If you're talking to me, I didn't hear you.
So I was saying that some of the expenses for the purchase of equipment was, can you hear me now?
Marie.
Yes.
Okay, so he said DOL, Department of Transportation, and I believe Switzer. Were those the only three facilities, Jeremy?
There was, yeah, DOL had a coffee brewer.
Yeah, but they went to DOT, correct?
Yes, so there was refrigerators for DOT.
And coffee carts.
And coffee carts. A countertop thermostat for the World Bank. There was some monitors for the Switzer building. And the monitors had some power station.
Did you hear that, Marie? Because I know it's kind of muffled. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I hear you clearly. Yeah.
May I ask a question? This is Jessie. Hello?
Yes, we can
Yes.
hear you.
Yes. Okay. How is it determined that whoever gets the equipment? Because I've been asking for a simple cash register since 2022. My system broke down, was down yesterday. I had to go with a calculator. I don't understand why. I guess I'm trying to understand who gets what first, because long before some of these places came in existence,
I
So
also need
when
a cash
all
register. Been asking for it.
everything went out yesterday, I was the only person able to run everything in DIA. So I had to go with a calculator and or something, and paper and pencil and so forth to make things work. I'm just trying to understand, how do you think a time that you continually be able to run your location?
I know Jelani is on. If you want to jump in, feel free. But to my knowledge, each vendor need should be handled as equally important. I was not made aware since I've been here about any needs for any cash registers or seeing any requests come through to purchase them. I will say, because I also heard Miss Marie Bowden, I believe it was, that said that she also needed a cash register in the background. After this meeting, if any vendor has any needs of equipment, if you can send an email to myself and copy your monitor on it and list your direct needs and send to me directly would be appreciated so that I can look into getting these things moving for you all.
Thank you.
I apologize for that.
Just to add, this stuff has been submitted to we could talk offline, but this stuff has been addressed. But we need to take care of it. But we can speak offline.
If I can just clarify, if Ms. Brooks is saying she doesn't have what she needs, it hasn't been taken care of. We're all DDS. So follow up, please, with what Charlisa said, which is if there are equipment needs that you have, write her and copy her, copy your monitor.
I go back and forth.
What was that?
Okay.
That's good to know. I'm glad you said that.
Thank you. And also, I believe everyone has my email address, but let me know if you need me to provide you that as well.
I would like to say this is Marie Bolden. I got popped myself off accidentally. I also been asking for a cash register for a long, long time. My cash register is the old talking one, and we have to put our hands up under the cash register in order to open up the drawer. It's
okay. Thank you, Ms. You may have dropped off. You may have dropped off when I was explaining to the other vendors. I did hear your request in the background of Ms. Jessie, where you mentioned that you needed one too. I asked the vendors if you can individually send me an email and copy your monitor that is assigned to your facility and list any equipment needs that you have. We are looking into equipment for the remainder of the fiscal year. So if you can send me this information by the close of next week, that would be very helpful as we budget the remainder of the equipment needs for the rest of the fiscal year.
Well, I hope when they bring you a cash register, that they bring you a decent one, not one that was taken from someone else. I think I have 2 or 3 sitting in my storage that they brought over to me that they don't work either. So I hope that.
Are we not updating all of the cash registers?
I would like to add. This is Marquette.
The problem is the problem is that. Sorry, Marquette.
I purchased my own cash register, POS systems, my kiosks, and everything connected to it. I'm told not to purchase anything on my own, and if I violate the policies that I can be got on for doing it, But at the same time, if I don't buy it, then I sit here not able to open my business when I first moved in here in October. So I bought certain things myself that I had over at OPM that I was asking to get transferred to my next location, and those things got lost. So I purchased them myself. So I don't know what'll happen if I leave this facility, or what. Do I take my stuff with me with the program, pay for it? I don't know, but I'm up and running, and that's what's important to me right now. But it has been a problem getting POS systems.
So, as we said, to the extent, and you are correct, equipment belongs to the SLA and so should be purchased by the SLA. To the extent a vendor paid for equipment, they should be reimbursed. But we do have to go through the same process prior to reimbursement that we would go through prior to purchase. And this is why we're trying to get together a thorough list right now of all equipment needs, because for anything over $1,000, we have to go to the Department of Education, get prior approval, and go through that whole process. So if we can identify everything we need to purchase, we can send one request for approval and get all the approvals at once so that we can move forward on getting all of that done as timely as possible, including any necessary reimbursement.
Thank you. May I say something else before I forget it? And I think it's something that needs to be said.
Please do.
Okay. On our equipment, in the past, Karen had scheduled maintenance service on the equipment, say refrigerators and things like that. And we no longer have that. I'm fortunate enough to have a husband who's an engineer. So my freezer got where it wasn't cooling. So he knew what to do. He went in and cleaned it and so forth. We need that kind of maintenance for all our equipment, especially refrigerators. Or people, if you don't clean them and keep the maintenance up on them, they're going to go out completely and you're going to end up buying new ones. So we need a company in place that comes out periodically on the system to maintenance all our equipment, to service it.
I would like to add to that. This is Marquette again.
Line between.
Sorry, Mr. Marquette. Director Reese was speaking.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Henderson. I just wanted to say, Jesse, I think it's important that we clarify the line between maintenance of equipment, which would be us, versus upkeep, which is the responsibility of the vendor. And so we just need to be clear about where that line is and then make sure that we're doing what needs to be done. Because as you said, if proper maintenance isn't done, then we're on the hook to purchase a whole new one. So I think we should probably talk about, maybe as the facilities committee, we could talk about which things need the SLA's attention and which things do we need to make sure that we're checking to make sure the vendor is keeping up with.
Very good.
I'd like to add that sometimes it may not be the equipment, like here at Switzer. I have received a refrigerator and a freezer, but at the same time, the circuit keeps getting tripped. And when it gets tripped, if it gets tripped on a Friday, then Monday I come in and all my inventory that was in that refrigerator or that freezer is no good anymore. I've already gone through it before and got through it. But just this morning, I had to call Switzer Management to let them know that the refrigerator, the freezer has been tripped and it's not on. So someone is coming out to look at it today, but sometimes SLA may need to get in touch with the facility management so that they can see whether it's not getting enough current or ohms or whatever it is that I'm not good at to make sure that our systems don't go down and we lose all our inventory in the process. So could someone check into that? Because I'm dealing with that situation as we speak.
Hello?
Thank you, Mr. Henderson.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm done now. That's all I had to say.
Who's iPhone?
Okay, I've made a note about that, Mr. Henderson, to speak to Switzer
Thank
about.
you.
Who just logged in as iPhone?
So we had an iPhone user that just logged in the midst of us speaking. They may have. Maybe they
It's
changed it.
LaShawn Addison.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, Ms. Addison. Okay. All right, so I think this will conclude our portion on our budget updates from our operation team. If no one else has any questions for Jeremy. And we will
I have
now.
a question. Oh, I have a question. It wasn't regarding the budget, but it had to do with financials. I was just wondering, are we going to receive our profit and loss statements by the 10th working day of this month, which is Friday? And the only reason I brought that up, Ms. Payne, is because when we send in our statements by the 6th, it's to basically ensure that the agency sends us our profit and loss statement by the 10th working day so that we can send in our levy by the 21st working day of each month. So that's the reason that I'm asking, because it has to, when I first came in the program, that's how it was. We were always getting our commission reports and statements by the 10th working day, as well as we were getting our deposits from the vending companies too by the 10th. I don't know where down the line everything got mixed up, but it wasn't like that when I first came in the program.
We always try and send out the reports as soon as we can, but definitely there's sometimes there are things that are out of our control, like the third-party commission reports. So for this month, I currently don't have all of them. So as soon as we get all of those details, we're able to send them out to you.
So why doesn't the agency do the late fee assessment for third-party contractors when they don't send in the payments on time? Because that's what it says in the contract. Because I know I received my deposit from Sodexo yesterday, and I received an invoice from Sodexo. It's only Compass and Monumental. But it says that a late fee can be assessed by the agency to ensure that the vending companies send in the payments on time. I mean, because the agency is quick to charge the blind vendor when the blind vendor owes money or is late with their report. That's all I'm saying.
Sometimes dates can get a little thrown off because the vendor contract reads that they have until 15 days to submit that information. Depending on when the 10th business day falls in the month, those dates can sometimes not align. At this time, no vendors have received any penalties. I believe right now we aren't collecting any more levies outside of any levies that may be past due at this time. So we are trying to work, and we'll try to do a better job with working with the third-party vendors on getting that information sooner. But as stated, things get a little tricky when the wording might read working days as it relates to some items and just calendar days as it relates to another. Those days can sometimes not quite align. And as Jeremy stated, we cannot send a full detailed report if we don't have all of the necessary information.
And I wanted to add, the last couple of months, there was a lot of logistical items setting up the logistical payments. So in terms of that, I feel overall, at least you're starting to get your payments quicker than in the past.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me. This is Jesse again. Can I get clarification on exactly when is the levy due? Because I'm hearing different dates.
To be clear, from May through September 2026, there is no levy due except for people who have past due levy. However, I think that Jeremy can tell you when the levy is due each month from the vendors, when levy is due.
Please.
So,
Can I just say something? This is Eunice Miles. My understanding is that the levy has always been due at the end of every month.
That's why I want clarification. That's why I'm asking for clarification because I have different dates. I'm hearing different dates. So that's why I'm asking for clarification so we will all know.
So while Jeremy is looking that information up, I don't want the dates that we discussed to confuse anything when we mentioned the 6th business day and the 10th business day and the 15 days that the third-party vendors get. Those are not the same as the levy due dates. Those are the reporting dates. So I just don't want that to confuse you in our discussion.
No, that's not it.
Okay.
Our previous person had told us about the end of the month, every month. Then I just heard Nicole say when she came in was the 21st. So that's where I'm getting confused at.
What was it when you came in, Jesse?
I want to say it was on the 21st. I can't be sure, but I really can't because I know we have to have the taxes in by the 21st. But the levy, I always sent mine in pretty much right after I received it, the information. That's why I want clarification because at this point, I'm not sure what date we should be going with.
But, taxes, that's an agreement that you have, my understanding, let me just clarify that, is you can set up your taxes to send it in monthly, quarterly, or yearly. So that is something, that was my understanding when I came in. So I set up whatever arrangement with the Office of Revenue and Taxation.
Well, to my knowledge, we've always had, it had to be in by the 21st. And if it wasn't, you would be charged a late penalty. And because I know one time I forgot and I did receive that late penalty. So I'm not sure.
That's your sales and use tax that have to be in by the 21st.
Exactly.
I don't think, Miles, I think you're talking about different taxes.
No, I'm talking about sales and use.
That's the only tax that we would all, So we're talking about sales and use taxes.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's every month.
And having
that's every month.
Right. I don't know about the 21st, but I do know that you can set up an arrangement where you can do it on, monthly, whatever, or quarterly, or yearly, or annually.
Well, actually, the tax people sent me a letter. According to how much tax you owe, they put you in a category, and that's the way I was paying mine. According to what I was told, when it was less, it was yearly. Then as it got more, it got to 6 months, and as it got more, it got to every month. According to your earnings.
In terms of levy, the 2007 policy, which is the only existing policy that speaks to levy, doesn't actually give a due date for the levy. What it says is that the P&L statement should be mailed to the vendors not later than the 10th working day of the month, and that vendors are responsible for then, and it doesn't give a time frame. It says once you receive your P&L from the agency, you should immediately pay the levy unless you're unable, and then you have 5 business days to let us know that you want to work out a payment plan. There is no late fee for levies, but levies do need to be paid. But there isn't a late fee, and there isn't in this 2007 policy, and we'll talk later about policies. This might be something the policy committee wants to tighten up. At the time, it just says that as soon as you receive your P&L, you need to pay your levy. So there's not a current time frame, but it is due each month. And so we would be following up with people who are not paying it each month.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I can recall some vendors complaining that they couldn't pay their levy because they hadn't gotten their actual money from the vendors. I mean, the third-party vendor.
Commission.
Yeah, and so I think that's how we came to the end of the month, because it was a little helter-skelter, like when we were getting our vending commission monies. And so it was kind of discussed that as long as the levy is in by the end of the month, that you were safe.
Actually, you're correct. I recall that.
So I don't know if this is fair to try to abide by, but I know that monthly you need the reports in order to make the payments, and sometimes due to dates and unforeseen circumstances, it may not be received by the 10th date. But as Andy stated, the policy states once the report is received, then the payment is due, and if the payment cannot be made, you can set up a payment request. Would you all think that it would be fair to say that the levy should be paid prior to the next month's report being sent? That would give a full month.
Why don't we work on this with the
Okay.
policy committee?
Oh, yeah, okay. We'll discuss it with the policy committee.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I think this is a good time to roll into our agenda item number 2, which is changes and updates to policies. I have my coworker here, Rachel McKinley, who will speak on this agenda item.
Before I get into the status of some of our current policies and procedures, I wanted to read to you all the policy process, which is also highlighted in the Randolph-Sheppard program policy that was shared with you all. These are the standards in regards to the policy process. All policies and procedures will be developed through the following process of BVC active participation. The BVC shall have the opportunity to initiate matters for consideration by the SLA in order to make meaningful contribution to the program. The BVC's views and positions will be given careful and serious consideration by the SLA. The SLA will develop a draft of any policy or procedure prior to submission to the BVC. The SLA will send a draft to the policy committee and set a meeting to further discuss the draft. Prior to and during the meeting, the policy committee will provide comments, questions regarding the draft. After the meeting, the SLA will give full consideration to the comments provided by the policy committee and will provide a written explanation of all changes, including any committee recommendations that are not adopted. Once there is a final draft, including any changes following discussions with the BVC policy committee, a copy of the document will be shared with the vendors at large, providing 14 calendar days for comment. Given the SLA's responsibility for administration of the program, it will finalize the policy or procedure and provide written feedback to all vendors regarding comments received and any changes that were made in response to these comments, including the SLA's rationale if it does not adopt any recommendations received. And then within the policy process, there are anything that involves our staff. Sorry.
Any policy that affects the working conditions of union employees at the agency, the union has 30 days to comment on the policy.
Yes.
So we send every policy to HR and they review to determine whether the policy or the procedure that we're writing affects the working conditions of our employees. And if the answer is yes, we send it to the union and they have it for 30 days before it can become final.
Yes.
Because you may have noticed, we sent out a transmittal last week with a couple of procedures, and there was a policy and procedure that we had sent out prior to this that we still haven't issued. And that's because those were issues that affect employees, so they are not yet final. And as soon as we get them back from HR, then we will send out a transmittal and provide our explanation about any changes based on the feedback we got.
Yes. So going into, okay.
I just want to be clear. So, Mr. Reese, you're saying then once the policy committee and the SLA have finished drafting the policy, it goes to human resources, did you say? HR?
That's correct.
Or does it go to the union?
It goes to vendors at large.
So once the vendors have finished with their input, the final step in our process is that HR reviews it to determine whether it has to go to the union. Some things don't affect the working conditions of our staff, and so those can be finalized immediately. Some things do, and in those circumstances, the union has 30 days to review.
Got you. Okay. All right. I'm clear.
Okay, so to provide the current status of some items that we've recently been working on, the new vendor procedure, as well as the eligibility for licensure, both of those were sent out with a transmittal last week, and those, okay, they will be sent out this week with a transmittal.
I would like to request those documents in large print in the mail. Mr. Andy Reese, I told you I needed those documents to be in large print format and to be sent to me in the mail because those are a lot of documents to look at.
Just to be clear, you said that to me this morning. You asked me to send you the documents, and I did send them to you.
I sent you 2 weeks ago. You looked through the email, and you said,
sent them to you via email. This morning, I received an email asking me for those in a printed format. I will send them out printed. If it is that you're not able to print them at your end, that's fine. We can print them and put them in the mail. Just to be clear, we are well past the comment period. This will be the 3rd time that I've sent them out.
So moving forward, Nicole, do you need copies of all finalized policies via mail? Is that what you're stating?
Yes. That's how it was when I came in the program. When they had Miss Emily Epperson here, she would always send out any documentation in large print through the mail. But somewhere along the line, you guys stopped doing that.
Because somewhere along the line, we started sending things via email as opposed to the postal service. I know that Miss Emily used to send everything by mail. We also used to type everything on a typewriter. We've moved along, but we will. If people request that things be sent in another format, we will send them in another format.
And is this only the final documents that you?
No, everything.
Okay. All right.
We're going to update the form that says you'd like it in large print to be clear that you would like it in large print hard copy.
All right, so Rachel is going to give the status of some of these active and working policies and procedures.
Next, we have 2 items with HR, which is the Randolph-Shepherd policy. Those standards that I just read is within that policy, as well as the micro market policy. And then I have 2 items to send out to the vendors at large, which is the procedure for termination of the RSVFP license, as well as the relocation procedures. And then last, right now we are currently working with the BBC on the promotion and transfer procedure and a supporting Excel document along with that. Once that is wrapped up, we will move next to the vendor expectations procedure. Just with this process, the policies and procedures as a whole have not been updated since 2007. There have been regulation updates since then. So I'm going through based on those regulation updates and updating the policies and procedures. There will be policies and procedures that are combined based on the content of those, because in the 2007 policies and procedures, as many of you know, some policies and procedures were only a paragraph. We're going to combine some of that information based on its relevance.
Hello, this is Jerome Walker. Could you remind me again, you just stated that you were working with the Promotion and Transfer Committee on something. I didn't hear what that was. Could you repeat that?
I'm working with the Policy Committee on the Promotion and Transfer Procedure.
Okay, I got you now. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so if there aren't any other questions for Rachel, we will move on to the third topic, which is the agency transition. So for everyone that was here at the beginning, I did introduce myself as a new supervisor as of May 4th. With taking this role and wanting to see the best for the program, including the monitors and the vendors working collectively, I believe that there is a lot of structure that we are working collectively to put in place. One of those things being getting a lot of these policies and procedures updated so that we can all hold ourselves accountable and have a clear understanding of how the program should and will work moving forward. So I did just want to take the time to express that. Also, as I stated, coming around, seeing all of the different locations, working closely with the monitors, making sure that all of our monthly site visits are taking place, that follow-ups are taking place for any items that are brought to our attention during those site visits. As you all know, recently, Jelani was promoted to our lead monitor position, which means he is not in the field as often. We are in the process of hiring a third monitor. We don't have a date as of yet, as we are just beginning the process of trying to hire someone. But hopefully within the next few upcoming months, we will have someone in here, meaning that you might see another additional body at some of these visits as they will be learning and training. I do acknowledge that while Jelani is in this new role, he is not able to do as many of his official site visits. So I am looking at possibly splitting some of those sites temporarily between the two active monitors that we do have. So you may see a monitor that you are less familiar with at your location completing site visits. I will be instructing them to keep Jelani in the loop in the midst of that. So this is not to say for you not to reach out to Jelani for any of your needs. This is simply to say that your official site visits may not be done by your assigned monitor. You should still reach out to Jelani in the needs of having equipment needs or any concerns with your location, but did just want to provide that information as well. Updating of files and policies. Looking over some of the rules and regulations and developing that structure and the monitoring tools that we have set in place. I have noticed that we have a requirement for certain verification of items like sales tax, business insurance, making sure that there are processes in place for payroll. I want to make sure that our monitors are making sure those items are reviewed and recorded in their monthly reports as well. So if everyone can make sure those things are easily accessible when asked, it would be greatly appreciated. And if anyone has any questions about any of those items, so please make sure that you are reaching out to me. And
Ms. Payne, this is Eunice Miles. I have a question.
Yes, Ms. Miles.
I noticed that your title is supervisor. So is that synonymous with program manager, or are we going to get a program manager, or will you be doing the same job as the program manager?
She'll be doing the same job. So it relates to personnel rules. Tiffany, I think half of you remember Tiffany. Tiffany was the Randolph Shepherd supervisor. Jim was the program manager. Brianna was the supervisor. So it has to do with personnel rules. She's the one you reach out to, though.
Okay.
And is her position temporary or is it permanent?
So she is currently in a temporary promotion, but for your purposes, she is who you reach out to. And if anything is going to change in that regard, we will let you know. Temporary promotion means that we can move someone immediately. It's a far faster way. One of the issues was I didn't want to leave this position uncovered for a period of time.
Good.
Ms. Payne, this is Jerome Walker. Is there an attempt made to contact the operator before you come to visit? I have a very capable manager at my location, but I sure would like to be there when you come to visit me at Interior.
Okay, yeah, I would love it if all the actual vendors are there as well. So I will speak to the monitors. I haven't actually been scheduling the visits. I've just kind of been joining in with the visits that were already planned, different site visits. But I will try to make sure that I reach out or ask the monitor if they are aware that the vendor will actually be on site before I come. And I look forward to meeting you as well, Mr. Walker.
All right, great, thank you.
Okay. So the Randolph Shepherd Performance Survey Development, as Rachel mentioned, that is the current policy that we are working with the BBC Policy Committee on. We have sort of recalculated the way that vendors will be graded on a semi-annual basis. We are creating an Excel evaluation point calculation. The difference is mainly instead of you losing points for not doing certain things, we have reworked the form so that you gain points by doing the needed items that you are being assessed on. We felt like this was a more positive look on the services and the jobs that you all are doing. We also have a breakdown on how seniority points are calculated and each category weight. The different categories that they're looking at are ability to serve, sanitation, adherence to rules and regulation, supervision of personnel, knowledge of business, care and utilization of equipment, and record keeping and customer relations. And I believe all of those categories were pulled directly from the policy. So nothing is really changing as far as what they're looking for. It's more so just a reworked way of calculating the points. And again, we plan to meet with the policy committee again next week, where they will get an opportunity to review the document, give us any input on it, And once we have all of their input, it will come to you all as the vendors at large to have a look at it as well. Also, the monthly inspection reports that the monitors have been completing, they are being done currently on paper, and I believe you guys should be having the carbon copy of those. I am working with our team to get that reworked in an electronic format. I think this will make it a little easily accessible for you all to have a copy for your records as well, and for them to complete the site visits. So that change won't be immediate, but that will be something that will be coming down the line as well. And lastly, discussing the vendors at large meeting schedule. I believe you all are used to meeting quarterly, which would be every 3 months. And I wanted to see if we wanted to discuss why you guys were here, if there is a specific day of the week. I know we won't always have a time where all 19 vendors will be available at the same day and time. But if there is a particular time of day or a particular day of week that we want to look into where we can set something reoccurring, for example, the third Wednesday of the month, every 3 months, we meet for an hour or an hour and a half or something consistent so that everyone can prepare their schedules. If anyone is open to sharing any ideas or any input.
I like that idea.
I have a question, and I don't want to keep saying what we used to do because I know things have changed. But having said that, we used to meet monthly, vendors at large, and I think that worked really good for us because you didn't have 3 months of stuff stored up, and the meetings, lasted for about an hour, and it worked. It seemed to work for everyone. So, is there a possibility that we can go back to meeting once a month as opposed to once a quarter?
We currently meet with the BBC group once a month. How would you be open to possibly bi-monthly versus quarterly? The BBC.
Yeah, it would be better if you could meet more often with all the vendors at large. Because we should know that, because y'all haven't been sending out any recordings. If you're meeting with the BBC every month, where are the recordings? So us vendors have to wait till 3 months in order to know, what's going on with the program. So, yeah, I think we could meet more frequently.
The recordings for all BBC and vendors at large meetings are on our website. And the recordings for each BBC.
There are none on the website for this year at all.
Let me verify, but I believe they are because it used to be something I would personally manage. So I'm pretty sure that they are, but let me just verify before I tell you that.
Yeah, they are. There's one for May 12, 2026, April 14, 2026.
Can you send me the link, Ms. Mandy Reese?
Yes, I can send you that link to your email.
Thank you.
Another reason it would be helpful to have more regular meetings once a month instead of 3 months, because it gives all of us more of a chance to participate. So for different reasons, it could be very difficult for everyone to make a particular meeting on any day, and then you got to wait another 3 months. That's a long time. I mean, I don't know. I thought for the last 6 or 7 months, we seem to have gotten very close to the kind of staff there, that we used to have, and I would hope that with the added staff that we could be able to get back to some of the things that made us feel better about our operations. It was said, and I like to say that, you referred to it earlier, and it sounds pretty good because as it relates to the monitors coming there and doing things to help us to increase our status or our standing. I remember when I first came in the program, I looked very forward to the monitors coming there because in my mind, they were there to help me, to make me feel more confident in the job that I was doing, and my place would be prepared for visitors like GSA and the district government. But for a while now, a lot of us fear the monitors coming there because it felt more like they were coming there to hurt us instead of help us.
So this is Andy, I just want to say, sorry, I do have to run, but I just have a suggestion, which is perhaps one of the regular, because one of my questions is, if the vendor at large is every month, what's on our agenda every month? And perhaps what we would look at then is part of our agenda for the BBC would be to establish the agenda for the vendor at large meeting so that, and I'm just making this up, y'all can decide after I walk out the door, but if like the BBC meetings are the first Wednesday of every month, the vendor at large could be the third Wednesday of every month. And one of the items that we discuss at the BBC meeting is, what are the items we need to discuss at a vendor at large meeting? Just a thought.
That sounds good to me.
That sounds like a great idea. That sounds like a great idea.
Okay, and one last thing. I had a conversation with Canteen Compass regarding the farmer's fridge that they have, the vending machine that they have, and they informed me that I guess some percentages were being wrong, like I was getting 5% or 10%. So they're working with Nicole and Jeremy to clarify it. I know I sent Nicole and Jeremy an email 2 weeks ago regarding that. But the thing that I had was the lady said to me, Alicia, that I was overpaid because Farmer's Fridge should not be paying me 20%. It should be paying me 13%. But I said to her, 13% is for snacks, 21% is for beverages, 25% is for gumballs, and micro markets of 12.6%. The policy, there's no regulation that clarifies what groceries and prepackaged vending, which is what farmers market vending machine is. So technically they can pay us 20%. So what is Randolph-Sheppard doing about that or discussing with them? Because I think that's wrong if they try to take that particular machine that sells groceries, prepackaged food, down to 13%, which is, it says that for snacks. Hello?
Yeah, we're currently in discussions with Compass about the various commissions they're doing with Farmers Fridge. So there's a lot going on with that.
Okay, but you guys are not going to let them, like I said, take down the grocery prepackaged food vending machine from 20% to 13% because it's not snacks. And there's nothing in the rules and regulations that clarifies what a grocery prepackaged vending machine should be getting.
This will be a matter that we will have to circle back to. We're not capable of answering that question, but we have written down to make sure that we communicate with Farms Fresh and to see whether this is something that we need to visit in our policies and procedures.
Thank you.
Okay. So this concludes all of our agenda items. So I'm going to, does anyone have a specific date of the week? I know Andy threw out there Wednesdays, given an example.
Wednesday is good. I think Wednesday is a good day.
Okay.
Let me just ask another question, Mrs. Payne. And this is not necessarily for discussion right now, but just for you to maybe talk to Andy and Dr. Austin about. We talked with the third-party vendors about the commission rate that they were paying us because they reverted back to paying some old and totally unaccepted rate. Monumental has started paying us the rate that we negotiated with them on. Compass has not, and neither has Airmark. So can we discuss, or perhaps in your next meeting with the BBC, circling back to the third-party vendors and talking about, particularly those particular vendors, third-party vendors, about paying us the rate that they should be paying us?
We can. I believe that last meeting was held back in February, and I believe those companies did not agree to going back to the rate.
Monumental did.
Yes.
Monumental did, and I believe they have already.
Plus, it wouldn't be just up to them.
Yes, the other two are not permitted to change just because of the decision of another vendor. We can circle back to it, but there's just no way to force these companies to make that decision. And I believe at the last.
There's a way. There is a way.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
There is a way. No, we bring in
Maybe
really
just
good
move
business
on.
for them. You know, there are other businesses
If
out
there's
there.
a will, there's a way.
Okay.
But,
Well,
you know,
I can reach out to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I can reach out to the third-party companies to see if they will take another meeting with us to engage in this conversation about the commission rates.
Okay, and Ms. Payne, can you ask them if they would have the decision maker at the meeting? Because on the last meeting, the only decision maker was from Monumental. Canteen did not have the decision maker on that meeting and neither did Airmark. So we really do need the decision makers at the meeting. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Yes, it does. But the language is a little off to me on Ms. Payne, because it's my understanding that they are here because of us. It's not the other way around. But what's fair to us should be at the top of the list, not what's fair to them. And most certainly, the agency seems like should be the first one in line to make sure that happens.
And as Mr. Reese stated in that meeting in February, those rates were not intended. They were attached to the agreement, but it was for them putting their machines. It was a licensing agreement. Somehow those rates were, and what they said was that you could not pay us any less than those rates. But they were not intended for them to use those rates because we had already negotiated rates a few years prior to that. So that's what we really need to make them understand. Those rates were not there for them to actually use. And they were glad because it was a win for them, but it was not a win for us.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to say, ask Mr. Reese, Ms. Payne, when will you all be setting up a meeting again with third-party vendors? We have written a couple of emails asking for the second meeting, which was supposed to be.
Yeah, she just said she's going to look into that, Marie. You may not have heard her.
Huh?
She just said she's going to circle back with them and set up a meeting.
Well, I hope so,
you may
because
not have heard her.
I didn't hear her, but I hope so, because, the first meeting we had, and there was a promise that we will meet once more, and it's never happened. So I hope that it happens.
And I would like to add that from what I've read and understand, that when it comes to making these arrangements or contracts with these third parties, that the blind vendor is supposed to be priority. And basically, it's like they are priority and not us. And if they don't want to negotiate what we may feel is a fair negotiation, then we should have the right to say, let's go down the list to the next third-party vendor. Since that vendor doesn't want to be fair to us, then we don't have to deal with them. Why are we being forced to deal with third-party vendors that don't want to give in to what we consider to be fair? And we shouldn't have to be forced to deal with them. There's so many of them that we should be able to go to the next one that is willing to give us the kind of numbers that we think are fair.
Miss
Guys,
Payne, I have
actually, in
Miss
the past,
Miss Payne. I was just wondering. I had the question. I was wondering, was Miss Rhonda on here?
You said is Miss Rhonda Bowman?
Yes.
No, she's not on here. She's actually separated from the agency. She's no longer with us. We are currently actively recruiting that position as well.
But that was the lady who y'all said was going to be the program support, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Well, that was my question. I was just wondering what wanted her to introduce herself and wondering what her duties was. But okay.
Yes, so she will be supporting the monitors in regards to her duties with the Randolph Shepherd vending program, or the incoming person once her position is filled. She will be acting mainly supporting the monitors in their day-to-day operations. But the vendors, if there are specific needs, you can reach out to her and she can make sure that it gets to the appropriate monitor or myself, well, the person that will be filling her role, not her.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you all for this meeting.
Thank you.
Based off of what we discussed, it looks like we will be meeting again in July. I will make sure that I send a calendar invite out with that information. I will also circle back to send an email before the close of business today to make sure that you all have the link to our website where you can find recordings of all BBC meetings and vendors at large meetings. I also had our IT team put a new link on our website that is going to house where we put all of our finalized policies and procedures. So I will begin having them load them there as we finalize. As Andy mentioned, this week I'll be sending out the transmittal with the 2 policies that we have finalized. So those will also go on the website. The new vendor and the eligibility for licensure procedures, those should be on there by next week. So in the email, I will give you the link to where you can find recordings, and I'll also place the link so that you can easily be able to access those policies and procedures as they become loaded to our site.
Payne, I don't think you gave us an answer to the monthly vendors at large meeting. Will you all be?
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Yes.
You didn't
You
hear
said that you wanted to meet monthly on Wednesday.
third Wednesday in July.
Every I know
Every
the
third
next
Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
You all,
Yeah.
Yes. So the
There was
third
just one last
Wednesday.
thing. There was just one last thing, Ms. Payne, and I think perhaps all of us have shared it with our monitors. There are some of us who don't have current permits, and that might be something you're already working on. Jelani?
Yes, we are working with GSA now on a permit, finalizing all of those. Director Reese will be re-signing all of the new permits as well and getting those over to GSA. And then we should have complete final permits available.
Okay, great.
Just for the record, in July, the third Wednesday, July has 5 Wednesdays. we may need to move this to the fourth Wednesday, as the third Wednesday, we currently have a BBC Policy Committee meeting already on our schedules.
Okay. That's fine. And the time, if 1 o'clock is good?
Does 1 o'clock work for you all?
Yeah, I think 1 o'clock is a good time.
Okay. All right, so I'll be sure to get that set up and sent out to you all.
And let me just say this, because we won't talk before the 27th. I just want to thank everybody who responded to the email inviting everyone to come and celebrate 90 years of Randolph Sheppard being in business. It's an accomplishment that we all should be very, very proud of. And we want to come out and just celebrate and have a really good time, relaxed. Nobody's going to be uptight about anything. We're just going to eat and have fun, play games. There are going to be prizes. And I think you'll enjoy it. We're putting a lot of effort and time into it. And I'm going to be calling everybody individually just to get some information from you about you. And so we're looking forward to it. And again, thank you so much. And I hope everybody can come and just be a part of this a wonderful celebration. 90 years is a long time, and it certainly deserves our attention. So come on, let's celebrate.
Thank you so much.
Appreciation.
Say that again?
I just say thank you.
Appreciation. I sure appreciate the.
Yeah,
appreciate.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ms. Payne, for having this meeting today. This meeting was a good meeting, so thank you.
No problem. Thank you all for meeting with me, and I look forward to continue to work with you all during my time here.
All right.
Have
a good day, everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Payne.
Good day. Good day.
Take care.
Keep up the good work. Bye-bye.
All right.